Have you ever felt like something is holding you back, like the weight of the world is crushing your spirit, your dreams, and your power? What if I told you the key to transforming your life is already within you, waiting to be unlocked? In this video, I'll reveal 7 profound lessons from Buddhist wisdom that will not only help you take back control, but also thrive in ways you never imagined. These aren't just teachings. They're life-changing tools that can help you rise above challenges, find inner peace, and live with unstoppable strength. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see yourself and your life in a completely new light. Lesson 1. The Bamboo Principle: Strength through Flexibility. In a storm, the bamboo bends while the oak tree snaps. Why? Because bamboo knows the secret of surrendering without giving up its essence. Life throws storms at us, unexpected losses, failures, and challenges. The Buddha taught that resilience comes not from rigidity, but from adaptability. When you stay rooted in your values but flexible in your approach, you reclaim your power no matter what life throws at you. Reflect on areas where you're too rigid. Could letting go of control in one aspect make you stronger in another? Lesson 2. The Mirror of Relationships: Learn, don't absorb. Once a disciple asked the Buddha, "Why do people's words hurt me?" The Buddha replied, "Because you choose to accept them." Relationships often feel like they control us. Other people's opinions, emotions, or expectations weigh heavily. But the truth: others' actions are a reflection of their reality, not yours. You reclaim power when you stop absorbing negativity and instead use every interaction as a mirror to grow and understand yourself better. The next time someone's words upset you, ask yourself, what does this reveal about them? And what can I learn about me? Lesson 3. The Lotus in Mud: Thrive in Imperfection. The lotus flower is one of the most beautiful symbols in Buddhism, but what makes it so inspiring is where it grows. It doesn't bloom in clean, clear water. It thrives in muddy, messy conditions. This is a reminder that even in the most difficult or imperfect situations, there's a chance to grow, to rise above, and to create something extraordinary. Too often we hold ourselves back, thinking, "I'll wait until things are better," or "I can only start when the timing is perfect." But here's the truth: waiting for perfection means staying stuck. Life doesn't offer perfect conditions, and challenges aren't roadblocks. They're the very things that shape you into something stronger. Just like the lotus uses the mud as nourishment, we can use our struggles as tools for growth. Think about a difficult situation in your life right now. Maybe it's a job you don't love, a relationship that feels strained, or even self-doubt holding you back. It's tempting to see these things as barriers, but what if you viewed them differently? What if these challenges are here to teach you something, to push you to grow in ways you didn't expect? Growth doesn't come from avoiding discomfort, it comes from facing it. The beauty of the lotus is not in avoiding the mud, but in using it to thrive. Start looking at your struggles as opportunities instead of setbacks. For example, if you're stuck in a job you dislike, see it as a chance to build resilience, learn skills, or clarify what you really want in life. If a relationship is testing your patience, use it to develop understanding, communication, or even the courage to set boundaries. You don't have to fix everything at once or escape the mud immediately. Instead, focus on how you can take small steps forward, even while things feel messy. Remember, the mud doesn't define the lotus. It's just part of its journey to bloom. Similarly, your challenges don't define you. They're simply part of the process of becoming the best version of yourself. Keep growing, even in the mud. Lesson 4. Silent Power: Strength in Stillness. Imagine a king visiting a wise monk, seeking advice on the secret to true power. The king, accustomed to commanding armies and controlling vast lands, expected to hear tales of grand strategies or fierce battles. Instead, the monk simply smiled and said, "The greatest power lies in silence." Confused, the king asked, "How can silence, something so passive, be powerful?" The monk explained, "In stillness you find clarity. In silence you discover strength." In our modern lives, we're constantly bombarded with noise, voices demanding our attention, tasks pulling us in every direction, and an endless stream of distractions. This external chaos often mirrors the internal chatter in our minds. Thoughts race, emotions surge, and decisions feel overwhelming. It's easy to lose your power in this noise, to feel as though life is controlling you rather than the other way around. But silence offers a path back to yourself. The Buddha taught that silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's the space where true understanding and strength emerge. In stillness, the mind settles. When the mind is quiet, it becomes like a calm lake, reflecting everything clearly. Decisions that once felt confusing become obvious, and problems that seemed insurmountable reveal their solutions. Think of this. When you're in the middle of an argument or a tense situation, what happens if you take a moment of silence before responding? That pause can prevent impulsive words that escalate the conflict. It gives you the power to choose your reaction, to act with intention rather than emotion. Silence is not weakness. It's a sign of someone who is deeply in control of themselves. Practicing stillness doesn't mean you need to retreat to a monastery or sit in meditation for hours. It starts with creating small moments of quiet in your day. For example, begin your morning with just 5 minutes of silence. No phone, no distractions, just you and your breath. This simple habit can set the tone for the rest of your day, grounding you and making you more mindful. In moments of stress or overwhelm, try stepping away from the noise. Take a walk without music or conversations. Sit quietly and focus on your breathing. It's in these small acts of stillness that you reclaim your power. When you silence the external world, you begin to hear the wisdom of your inner self. One of the most profound lessons from Buddhist teachings is that silence can carry answers that words cannot. When we're silent, we can observe more clearly, not just the world around us, but also the workings of our own mind. We notice patterns, habits, and emotions that might otherwise be buried under the noise. This awareness is the foundation of true strength. The next time life feels chaotic, remember the monk's words. The greatest power lies in silence. Step back, find stillness, and allow clarity to emerge. In silence, you are not running away from life, you are connecting with its essence. True strength comes not from controlling everything, but from being unshaken amidst it all. When your mind is calm, you become unstoppable. Lesson 5. The Empty Cup, Power Through Humility. There's an old Zen story about a scholar who visited a renowned master, eager to learn about enlightenment. The scholar had spent years studying and thought himself knowledgeable, so he began talking about all he already knew. The master listened patiently, then offered to pour the scholar a cup of tea. As the tea filled the cup, the scholar kept talking. The master continued pouring until the tea overflowed and spilled everywhere. Shocked, the scholar exclaimed, "Stop! Can't you see the cup is full?" The master calmly replied, "Exactly. You are like this cup, too full to receive anything new. How can I teach you unless you first empty your cup?" This story holds a profound lesson about humility and the hidden power it brings. Many of us move through life with full cups, brimming with opinions, assumptions, and a need to prove our worth. We cling to what we know, believing it gives us power. But this attachment can block us from growth, learning, and connecting with others. True power isn't about showing off what you know or holding on to a sense of superiority. It's about having the courage to admit you don't have all the answers and the openness to learn from everyone and everything around you. In Buddhism, humility isn't weakness, it's a sign of inner strength. The Buddha himself taught through example, never claiming superiority despite his immense wisdom. He emphasized that those who are humble remain grounded, adaptable, and open to the infinite possibilities of life. When you approach life with an empty cup, you make space for new insights, experiences, and connections that strengthen you in ways pride never can. Think about a time when you held on too tightly to your beliefs or refused to consider another perspective. How did it make you feel? Did it create tension or disconnect? Now consider the opposite. A moment when you chose to listen instead of argue, to learn instead of assert. That openness likely deepened your understanding and left you feeling lighter and more empowered. Humility doesn't mean belittling yourself or letting others walk all over you. It's about recognizing that no matter how much you know or achieve, there's always more to discover. It's understanding that everyone you meet, no matter their background, education, or experience, has something valuable to teach you. Even the smallest child can offer wisdom if you're willing to see it. This mindset of humility unlocks immense power in relationships and personal growth. When you approach others with genuine curiosity and a willingness to learn, you build stronger connections and earn respect. People are drawn to those who listen, who value different perspectives, and who aren't afraid to say, "I don't know, can you teach me?" On a practical level, embracing humility can transform how you handle challenges. When faced with a problem, instead of assuming you have all the answers, ask for advice. Seek wisdom from books, mentors, or even unexpected sources. The more you empty your cup, the more you'll discover solutions that you couldn't see before. Humility also brings an inner peace that arrogance never can. When you stop needing to prove yourself or defend your ego, you free up mental and emotional energy. You become less reactive, more patient, and more willing to grow. This quiet confidence, born from humility, is far more powerful than the loud confidence of someone trying to impress others. Reflect on your own life. Are there areas where your cup might be too full? Perhaps you're clinging to old beliefs, habits, or ways of thinking that no longer serve you. Maybe it's time to pour some of that out and make space for something new. Life has so much to offer, but it can only fill you up if you're willing to let go of what no longer fits. The empty cup isn't a symbol of lack, it's a symbol of infinite potential. When you embrace humility, you open the door to endless growth, wisdom, and connection. You realize that true power doesn't come from being full, but from being open. So, empty your cup and let life fill it with something extraordinary. Lesson 6. The flame that doesn't burn. Detach from outcomes. In a quiet monastery, a monk carried a lantern to light his path at night. One evening, a traveler stopped him and asked, "Why carry the lantern if you aren't afraid of the dark?" The monk smiled and said, "The flame guides me, but I do not depend on it. If the wind blows it out, I will still find my way." This simple exchange contains a profound lesson. Holding a flame without attachment to its light is a metaphor for how we should approach life. It's natural to work toward goals, to strive for success, and to dream big. But the trouble begins when we become so attached to outcomes that they dominate our emotions and actions. The Buddha taught that clinging to outcomes creates suffering, while freedom lies in detaching from what we cannot control. In life, we often become consumed by the what-ifs. What if I fail? What if I don't achieve my dream? What if others judge me? These fears can paralyze us, making us afraid to take risks or act boldly. On the flip side, we sometimes tie our happiness to achieving a specific result, getting that promotion, reaching a financial milestone, or hearing someone's approval. But even if we achieve these things, the satisfaction is often fleeting, and the fear of losing them takes over. True power lies in taking action without becoming enslaved by the outcome. This doesn't mean you stop caring or lose ambition. It means you shift your focus to the process rather than the result. The monk carrying the lantern didn't depend on its light to guide him. Similarly, you can carry your dreams, your efforts, and your plans, but you don't have to let them define your happiness or self-worth. Imagine you're planting a garden. You put seeds into the soil, water them, and ensure they get sunlight. But once they're planted, you can't control how fast they grow or how abundant the harvest will be. Obsessing over whether they'll sprout only drains your energy and joy. Instead, focus on nurturing the garden to the best of your ability and trust the process. Whether the harvest is plentiful or sparse, the act of tending to the garden will teach you patience, care, and gratitude. Detachment from outcomes is not about giving up, it's about finding freedom. It allows you to put your full energy into the present moment without fear or anxiety clouding your mind. When you act with intention but without clinging, you become lighter, more resilient, and better equipped to handle whatever life brings. Think about how this applies to your daily life. If you're working on a big project at work, give it your best effort, but don't tie your sense of success to whether it's praised or criticized. If you're pursuing a relationship, invest your heart and kindness, but don't let rejection or approval dictate your worth. By detaching, you reclaim your inner balance. The Buddha often compared attachment to holding a flame too tightly. If you clutch it with fear or greed, you'll get burned. But if you hold it gently and let it guide you without clinging, it lights your path without harm. Life is much the same. Your goals and dreams are valuable. They give you direction, but they are not the source of your value. You are enough, no matter the outcome. Practicing this kind of detachment requires mindfulness. Start by being aware of when your mind begins to obsess over results. When you notice this, pause and remind yourself, I cannot control the outcome, but I can control my actions. Focus on the effort and the lessons you gain along the way, rather than the end result. This mindset not only reduces stress, but also makes success feel more meaningful when it does come. And when things don't go as planned, you can face those moments with grace, knowing you did your best without letting the result define you. The monk's flame is your reminder. You can carry your ambitions without letting them burn you. Act with purpose, live with intention, and let go of the fear of outcomes. When you master this, you'll discover that your power isn't in controlling the future. It's in fully embracing the present. Lesson 7. The Bridge of Compassion. Expand your circle. There's a beautiful story about a monk who was walking along a forest path when he came across an ant colony. The ants had built their home near a narrow stream, and the rising water threatened to wash them away. Instead of stepping over the colony and continuing on his way, the monk paused, gathered sticks and leaves, and built a tiny bridge for the ants to escape. When someone asked him later why he had done this, he replied, "Compassion isn't about who deserves it or how small the act may seem. It's about remembering that all life is connected." This story captures the essence of compassion as taught in Buddhism. True compassion isn't limited to grand gestures or directed only at people you love. It's a mindset, a way of seeing the world as interconnected and realizing that your happiness and the happiness of others are deeply intertwined. Compassion is not a sign of weakness. It's an act of profound strength that has the power to transform not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. In our daily lives, we often shrink our circle of compassion. We reserve kindness for our family, close friends, or those who think and act like us. But the Buddha taught that this limited compassion restricts our growth and keeps us trapped in a narrow view of the world. The more we expand our circle to include others, even strangers, even those who have hurt us, the more we begin to see life in its fullness. Consider this. Every time you offer compassion, you build a bridge. It might be a bridge of understanding between you and someone you disagree with. It might be a bridge of comfort for someone who is struggling. Or it could even be a bridge to yourself, helping you heal from your own pain. These bridges connect us, and through them, we realize that helping others also strengthens us. But compassion isn't always easy. It can be challenging to feel empathy for someone who has wronged you, or to extend kindness when you're struggling yourself. That's where the Buddhist practice of metta, loving kindness, comes in. Metta teaches us to cultivate compassion step by step. You begin by directing loving kindness toward yourself. Then you extend it to those you love, then to acquaintances, and finally to people you find difficult. Over time, this practice opens your heart and makes compassion a natural response rather than a forced effort. Imagine the ripple effects of even small acts of compassion. A kind word to a coworker can lift their spirits and help them face their own challenges with renewed strength. Giving your time to someone in need can inspire them to do the same for another. Compassion isn't just about what you do in the moment. It's about the legacy of kindness you leave behind. Compassion also teaches us humility. When we see others' struggles, we're reminded of our shared humanity. No matter how different someone seems, they too experience fear, loss, joy, and hope. This understanding dissolves the barriers that divide us and brings us closer to the truth that we are all part of the same interconnected web of existence. In practice, expanding your circle of compassion can start small. Perhaps it's as simple as smiling at a stranger, listening without interrupting, or offering help without expecting anything in return. It might mean forgiving someone who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because holding on to resentment is a burden you no longer want to carry. Compassion isn't measured by the size of the act, but by the intention behind it. The monk who built the bridge for the ants reminds us that compassion doesn't require grand resources or perfect conditions. It simply requires a willingness to pause, see another's need, and act. By doing so, you not only help others, but also strengthen your own inner peace and resilience. Compassion connects you to life's flow, reminding you that true power lies not in what you take, but in what you give. When you approach life with compassion, you discover a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. You stop seeing others as obstacles or competitors and instead recognize them as fellow travelers on the journey of life. Through compassion, you expand not just your circle, but also your heart, allowing it to hold the entire world. And in doing so, you'll find that the bridges you build lead to a stronger, happier, and more meaningful existence. These 7 lessons aren't just ideas to think about, they're powerful tools to transform your life. Each one is a step toward reclaiming your inner strength and living with intention. Remember, life doesn't require you to be perfect. It requires you to be present, compassionate, and willing to grow. The path to thriving starts with small mindful actions. Pause and embrace the stillness. Let go of the need to control everything and see the opportunities hidden in challenges. Build bridges of compassion, not just for others but also for yourself. When you stop clinging to outcomes and start focusing on the journey, you'll discover a power within you that no one can take away. So, I challenge you, take one lesson from today and apply it to your life. just one. Watch how it shifts your mindset, your actions, and your results. Let me know in the comments which lesson resonated with you most and how you'll put it into practice. Remember, the power to thrive isn't out there. It's already within you, waiting to be awakened. You've got this, and I'm here cheering you on. Keep growing, keep thriving, and let your light shine for the world to see.